Hello everyone, I Milan Singh welcome you again to this lecture series, and today in the continuation I am going to talk with you about the regional dynasties of Chhattisgarh, and this is the part 1 because I will have to bring a second part as well. We have so many dynasties to cover, and if I bring them together it would be a really long video which we do not want. So yes, before I begin, I would like to inform you that we are providing you a full GS course with Chhattisgarh Special for CGPSC. You just have to download an app from Google Play Store, that is Purvanchal IAS, and then you can take a look of different courses available there like UPPSC, UPSC, MPPSC, NCRTs, etc. And we also have courses such as Science and Technology, Environment, History, Disaster Management, Ethics, Social Issues, Internal Security, International Relations, etc. Now, please take a look here when I begin with regional dynasties of Chhattisgarh. Dear aspirants, we have so many dynasties to look up and study when it comes to the area known as Chhattisgarh or the state known as Chhattisgarh. Firstly, the dynasties of South Kausal. Please remember that in my last video also I informed you that in ancient period Chhattisgarh was known as South Kausal. If you haven't watched that video, I will advise you to please watch that first because history has its timeline and it is being followed. So in the previous video, I've covered the ancient part right from Stone Age till the Gupta period, and then we are moving towards this regional dynasty part 1. So if you see in the South Kausal time, we had dynasties such as Rashitulyakul, Sharapurya dynasty, Pandu or Som dynasty, Ban dynasty, Faninag dynasty, and in the Bastar area or Bastar division, we had dynasties such as Nal dynasty, Chindaknag dynasty, Kakatiya dynasty. And then further, this Pandu or Som dynasty had its divisions such as Som dynasty of Maikal, Pandu dynasty of South Kausal, Som dynasty of South Kausal, and Som dynasty of Kanker. Alright. So these are the dynasties which you have to cover when you are studying the regional dynasties of Chhattisgarh. And there is one more dynasty which is not being mentioned here as of now but is the most important, and which is the dynasty of the medieval Chhattisgarh, and that is Kalchuri. The Kalchuri dynasty, and I will be making a separate video on the Kalchuri dynasty and even Kakatiya dynasty because they too are very important, because during the Kakatiya time Maratha rule started in Chhattisgarh. Basically this region came under Maratha, so it has to be dealt separately. Now when I begin, the first dynasty that comes across is Rashitulyakul dynasty. It had its capital in Kulya dynasty, and this dynasty had its capital in Arang, Raipur. Arang is in the Raipur district and very close to Mahasamund, in the limits of near to Mahasamund. And this dynasty of Rashitulyakul had its capital in Arang, and their ruling period is expected to be somewhere around 4th to 6th century AD. They had the title of Raj Yogi, and only source that we find is from the Arang copper plate which is of Bhimsen II. Only this is the source that is available to us for this particular dynasty, and this is the source which provides us information about the rulers of this dynasty. And from here we come to know that this could be what the sequence of the rulers of this dynasty, or say that this could be the important rulers of the dynasty like Sura, Dait I, Vibhishan, Bhimsen, Dait II and Bhimsen II. Okay, this is 2 in the Roman 2, and it is from Bhimsen that we get this Arang copper plate inscription and all the evidences of this particular dynasty. Apart from this, we do not really have any other sources to know about this particular dynasty. Now talking about Sharapurya dynasty, the Sharapurya dynasty is also called as Amrajkul otherwise Amaryakul. So this is the other name of Sharapuriya dynasty, and they had their capital in Sharapur, which is basically Sambalpur, and presently Sarangarh. Please do not confuse it with the Sambalpur of Odisha. It is not that. It is basically presently Sarangarh of Chhattisgarh. At that time it was known as Sharapur or Sambalpur, and the founder is Sharabraj. They were the follower of Vaishnav sect, that is the Vaishnav religion. And here I would like to tell you that different rulers at times used to change their capital from one places to another, and that happened with Sharapuriya dynasty rulers as well. So when Sharabraj, the founder, he was the ruler, the capital was Sharapur, like I told you here, Sambalpur. But then when this ruler Prasannamitra came, he made Malhar the capital of Sharapuriya dynasty. And then there was this ruler Pravraj I, who made Sirpur the capital of Sharapuriya dynasty. So likewise, they have got three capitals and different rulers. So you have to remember this, because at times it may be asked in the question, and it is asked during the time of this particular ruler, which was the capital of this particular dynasty. Sharapuriya dynasty. Important rulers of Sharapuriya dynasty. We actually have to see who were the important rulers and what really took place in their time. So first is Sharabraj. Now, when I was teaching you in the previous video, Ancient History of Chhattisgarh, I taught you Gupta Empire, and during that I've told you that there is an inscription of Bhanu Gupta, a Gupta ruler. That inscription is Iran inscription, and it tells us that Sharapuriya dynasty was established by Sharabraj in 510 AD. So basically from this inscription, we get to know the information regarding the establishment of Sharapuriya dynasty in Chhattisgarh. Second one is Prasannamitra. Now, in the previous slide, I told you that this Prasannamitra actually shifted the capital from Sharapur, that is the Sarangarh, to Prasannapur, a city named as Prasannapur. So, he is the one who built the city known as Prasannapur, which is considered to be current Malhar. This Malhar is located into Bilaspur district. Okay, so it is said that this is the Prasannapur that has been built up or created by Prasannamitra at the bank of Nidila river, and this Nidila river right now is river Lilagar. So you can understand that the ancient name of river Lilagar was Nidila and the ancient name of Malhar was Prasannapur, and it has been built by whom? Prasannamitra of Sharapuriya dynasty. One thing important to note here is that this particular ruler also issued gold coins in which images of Garud, Chakra, conch shell, etc. were drawn. Okay? So you have to remember that there were gold coins being issued by Sharapuriya, and they had certain images engraved there, that is Garud, Chakra and conch shells. Then the ruler came known as Jairaj. He was the son of Prasannamitra, and according to Malhar copper inscription, he has built the city known as Durg. The current city Durg, who has built it, it is being built by Jairaj, the son of Prasannamitra. Okay? This particular ruler Jairaj has other names also, such as Manmatra and Durgraj, because of course he built the city of Durg. And the coins that he have issued, there was print of Gaj Lakshmi. Goddess Gaj Lakshmi has been printed in the coins of Sharapuriya ruler Jairaj. Then this Pravaraj first, he made Sirpur as his capital. Like we know, Sharabraj ke time pe the capital was Sharapur. In the Prasannamitra time, it was Prasannapur, that is Malhar. Then the Pravaraj time, it was Sirpur, which became the capital of Sharapuriya dynasty. We have Sudevraj also. To know here that Indrapal was his feudal. Now, who is this Indrapal? See here, when Pravar Raja II came into the throne, this Indrapal dethroned the Raja, killed him and laid the foundation of another dynasty named as Pandu dynasty. So this Pravaraj II was the last king of Sharapuriya dynasty, and then he was killed and dethroned by a feudal Indrabal, who was the feudal of Sudevraj, the earlier ruler. And this Indrabal established what? He established the Pandu dynasty, or basically known as the Som dynasty. We have seen in the first slide where I told you the segregations. So please note here that the copper plate inscription of Sharapuriya, the copper inscription, describes the issue using date, time and other thing, but any picture is not found there. In the copper plate, there is no picture being found. Yes, a date, time, these things are issued, but there is no picture being found. Okay, so you have to remember that. Ruler of the Sharapuriya dynasty, Indrabal founded the dynasty called as Pandu dynasty of Sirpur. Sirpur was the place, of course, and the dynasty named as Pandu. But then it is considered that the father of Indrabal, this Udayan, was the first person of this dynasty. This is being mentioned in the Kalinjar inscription. This Kalinjar is a place in Orissa, and there is an inscription which says that Udayan is the father of Indrabal and the first person of the Pandu dynasty. But then his son Indrabal is considered to be the real founder because, of course, he dethroned and killed the last ruler of Sharapuriya dynasty, like we saw in the last slide. So as far as the rulers of this Pandu dynasty is concerned, the first we know is Indrabal, who actually founded this dynasty. Important thing to know here is this: Indrabal settled a city named as Indrapur, which is currently the city of Kharod, which is located in Janjgir Chapa. Okay, so who built this Janjgir Chapa Kharod city? This is by Indrabal. Indrabal had 4 sons: Nanraj 1, Surya, Ishandev, Bhaibal. And then after Indrabal, this Nanraj 1 took the throne and he became the ruler. And he basically made rest of his 3 brother as Mandaladhipati. So you can remember the title of rest of his 3 brothers, that is the Surya, Ishandev and Bhaibal, was Mandaladhipati. And among this Ishandev, one of the son of Indrabal, he built this Lankaneshwar Mahadev temple, also known as Lakhachor temple, in Kharod. Okay, so he has constructed, or say made this temple built. Then came another ruler, that is Mahashiv Tivardev, very important one. He was the son and successor of this Nanraj 1. He succeeded the throne after him, and about him it is mentioned in the copper inscription. And in those copper inscription, only Tivardev is written in the coins, not this Mahashiv. The name that is being written is Tivardev in the coins found, copper coins being found of this particular era. His period is known as the rising period of Pandu dynasty. So please remember that the time of Tivardev is known as the rising period of Pandu dynasty. This Tivardev was the follower of Vaishnav cult or the Vaishnav religion. Then came into throne Nana II. And about this Nana II, there is only one thing that is found, that is a copper inscription which is being found from Adabahar, where he has written, or he has got the title of Kaushal Mandaladhipati. So who got the title of Kaushal Mandaladhipati? So it is Nanadev or Nana II. Since he had no issues or basically no problem, and that is why with his consent his uncle Chandragupta became the ruler. And here came Chandragupta. Please do not get confused with the Gupta ruler Chandragupta. It is not that, it is the ruler of Pandu dynasty. His name was Chandragupta. And about Chandragupta, we find a mention in the Lakshman temple inscription of Sirpur. Okay. Then came Harshgupta. This Harshgupta was basically married to Prince Vasta. Now, who is this Princess Vasta? This Princess Vasta is the daughter of King Suryavarman of Mokhari dynasty. There was a dynasty known as Mokhari having a King Suryavarman, and his daughter was this Vasta, who was married to Harshgupta. Now, what you have to know is that there was one very important ruler of this Pandu dynasty of Sirpur, and that is Mahashiv Gupta Bal Arjun. 595 AD to 655 AD. See, this is all about history. I've told you previous also, when you are reading about history and specifically the dynasties, what you need to remember is the rulers, the important rulers, and what have they done. What changes did they brought? How were the different areas of the society during their era? And one such person from Pandu dynasty of Sirpur is Mahashiv Gupta Bal Arjun. And here you can see his period of reign is known as the golden period of Chhattisgarh. What is known as golden period of Chhattisgarh? So he automatically becomes very important from your exam point of view. He is the son and successor of Harshgupta. ठीक है? So as per Sirpur inscription, he was very much proficient in archery right from his childhood. Okay? Just like the Arjun of Mahabharata, and that is why he was called as Bala Arjun. So why was he called as Bala Arjun? Because from his very childhood he was very much proficient in the archery. He engraved Nandi in his royal currency. I hope you know Nandi, the Nandi bell, Shivji's Nandi, and that was being engraved by Mahashiv the Bala Arjun in the royal currency, and that is why it is said that this Mahashiv Bala Arjun followed the Shiva sect. The other rulers basically followed the Vaishnava sect, but he belonged to the Shiva sect. And he himself called him Param Maheshwar. So the title that he took on himself is Param Maheshwar. He had a royal poet in his court named Ishan. Okay? His mother Vista Devi, basically who was married with the Harshgupta, the daughter of the king of Mukhari dynasty, Vista Devi, in the memory of her husband Harshgupta, she started building a temple known as Lakshman Temple of Sirpur during the reign of Mahashiv Gupta Bala Arjun. So Vista Devi basically started the construction of this temple. Okay. Later on, it was basically completed by Mahashiv Gupta Bala Arjun. We have found 27 copper plates of this particular ruler from Sirpur during the excavation. And who did that excavation? Dr. Vishnu Singh Thakur and Ramendra Nath Mishra it is. Okay. It is Ramendra Nath Mishra. So they basically did the excavation and got this 27 copper plates. Sirpur was very famous center of Buddhist at this time. You know, in 639 Chinese traveler Huan-Sang visited. We have talked about this in the previous video also. So at that time, this was this Pandu dynasty being ruling there. Here also I have written Huan-Sang visited Chhattisgarh during this particular reign, and it was the reign of Mahashiv the Bala Arjun. And it is mentioned in his testament, which is CUK. And Huan-Sang called Chhattisgarh as Kia S Lo. Kia S Lo. So by Huan-Sang, Chhattisgarh is Kia S Lo. We also know that there are some contemporary rulers of Mahashiv Gupta Bala Arjun. Who are these? The contemporary kings in the northern India were Harshvardhan, very famous, I think you know. In the South India, you had Chalukya king Pulakeshin II, again very famous, and Pallava king Narsingh Varman. Okay, so these three were the contemporary kings. A lot of times contemporary dynasties are being asked, and also the contemporary rulers. You need to remember these names. Harshvardhan, Pulakeshin II, Pallava king Narsingh Varma were the contemporary of Mahashiv Gupta Bala Arjun. It is said that Mahashiv Gupta basically accepted the dominance of Pulakeshin I. It is mentioned in a whole recommendation which is written by Ravi Kriti, and as per this, he accepted the dominance of Pulakeshin I, and some records of his brother Dhankeshri and son Shiv Nandi is also mentioned. But now then, after the rule of Mahashiv Gupta, this dynasty basically started declining because the later kings were very weak, and hence some other dynasty came up to rule. And this Pandu dynasty of Sirpur got into decline. As far as the architecture of Pandu dynasty of Sirpur is concerned, we have Lakshman temple. I told you this construction was started by Vasta Devi, mother of Mahashiv Gupta Bala Arjun, in the memory of her husband Harshgupta, and it was completed by Mahashiv Gupta Bala Arjun. There's another temple which was being built, which is a Lakshmaneshwar temple. The name is Lakshmaneshwar temple, which is being built in the Kharod, but it is the temple of Lord Shiva. This was built by Ishan Dev. In the starting, I have told you. Now, this Som dynasty, we have seen in the very first slide that it was being divided into certain other dynasties of like Som of Bastar, Som of South Kosal, Som of Maikal region. So, the earlier that we have studied is the Pandu dynasty of Sirpur. But what about the other dynasties? We have Som dynasty, or say the Pandu dynasty of Maikal region. See, Maikal is the region of little bit of Kavardha and Rajnandgaon. There is a Maikal range, so it is considered to be that region. The place capital was Amarkantak, The important rulers were Jaybal, Vatsbal, Nagbal, Bharatbal and Surbal. And from where do we get the information about them? We get the information from Malhar copper plate and inscription of Surbal. There is not much found about this, but then these are the information that you need to know. Then there was in Odisha also a Som dynasty. They had the title of Tri Kalingapati. Okay? Tri Kalingadipati. Kaushalendra also was their title. And it is said that their founder was Shivgupta. The rulers were Indush, Mahashivgupta IV, Udyog Kesari, Karn Kesari, and in their royal currency, the mark of Gajalakshmi was there. There was a Som dynasty in Kanker also, Kanker Bastar division. The founder was Singhraj, and the rulers were Vopdev, Karnaraj, Somdev, and about this Karnaraj we have Sihava copper plate inscription which gives us the information. These are the titles taken up by the Pandu dynasty people of different places. First title, Tri Kalingapati, Som dynasty, Odisha, Mahashivgupta. Please do not confuse yourself with Mahashivgupta Bala Arjun. This is not that. Mahashivgupta Bala Arjun is from Som dynasty or Pandu dynasty of Sirpur. In Odisha also I told you there is Mahashivgupta IV and he took the title of Tri Kalingapati. Then Sakal Kausaladhipati was the title taken by Tivardev, Pandu of Sirpur. Param Maheshwar was taken by Mahashivgupta Bala Arjun, and this is that Mahashivgupta Bala Arjun. Please do not confuse with these two Shivgupta, they are different. And then let's talk about another dynasty which is the Nal dynasty. I hope you remember I told you this Nal dynasty was the contemporary. In my previous video I have told you Nal dynasty was a contemporary of Gupta as well as Vakataka dynasty. If you haven't watched that previous video, please do so. I tell you every time that history is all about timeline and the contemporary rulers. So, the founder of this dynasty is Shishuk. They had their early capital in Koraput, Bastar. This is not that Koraput, Odisha, so please don't get confused. It is a Koraput in Bastar. In the first slide when I started this particular lecture, I gave you the segregation of different dynasty and I told you dynasties of Bastar and the dynasty was Nal dynasty. According to Prayag commendation of Hari Sen that we have discussed in the last video is also in the ancient part that Samudragupta of Gupta dynasty had defeated Nal king Vyagraj in his southern victory campaign or southern victory operation. Based on the records, Varaha Raj is considered to be the real founder of this dynasty. So suppose there is a question in your exam, who is the founder of the Nal dynasty? The answer would be Shishuk. Shishuk, okay? But then if the question is who is the real founder of this dynasty, your answer would be Varaha Raj. Please keep that in mind. We have certain copper plate inscription of Nal dynasty which becomes the source of information for us. There are 5. Riddhipur record present in Amravati Kondagaon of Bhavdat Varman, Kesari Beda of Arthapati Bhatrak, Podagar record Odisha of Skanda Varman, Rajim record of Vilastung, and Pandya Patthar copper plate inscription of Bhimsen II. So these are the sources of information which tells us about the Nal dynasty in Chhattisgarh. See, we have other records also being found. Apart from those copper plates, we have a Prayag commendation of Hari Sen, Chandragupta. It was written about the Chandragupta victory. A whole commendation of the Chalukya king Pulakeshin II. And we have Udendri Gram copper plate writing of Pallava king Nandivarman. So these are also the records or written source of information from where we get to know about Nal dynasty of Chhattisgarh. We have 29 gold coins of King Varaha Raj found from Adenga. Adenga is a place in Kondagaon, Bastar division. So this 29 gold coin basically this shows the prosperity of the dynasty, issuing gold coins, and then we have found 29 gold coins. That means the dynasty was really prosperous. There were many rulers who issued the gold coins in the Nal dynasty. They were Varaha Raj, Arthapati Bhatrak, Bhavdat Varman. Okay, let's see about them one by one. First ruler Shishuk, who is called to be the founder of Nal dynasty. Vyagraj. Now this Vyagraj was defeated by Samudragupta. I've told you before also, it is mentioned in the Prayag Prahasti of Harisin that Samudragupta defeated Vakataka king Mahendra Sen and Mahakantar king Vyagraj, and this one is the Mahakantar king Vyagraj. Mahakantar is the name given to the Bastar division during the ancient times. And Samudragupta, after defeating them, acquired the title of Vyagrasan. ठीक है, Vyagrasan. Vrishabhraj came after Vyagraj and he administered the state. But the real founder, the one who actually extended the extent of this particular dynasty, is the Varaharaj, and that is why he is considered to be the real founder of Nal dynasty, and his 29 gold coins have been found from Adenga of Kondagaon, which shows the prosperity of this dynasty. Then there is Bhavdat Varman. About him I have told you in my previous video also that he defeated Vakataka king Narendra Sen. It is written in the Riddhipur inscription that Nal king Bhavdat Varman defeated Narendra Sen and destroyed his capital Nandivardhan. Then came Skandavarman. He re-established Pushkari and constructed Vishnu temple in Pithoragarh. Stambharaj, he is known for Kulya inscription of Durg that the Chalukya ruler of Kritivarvengi attacked Nal dynasty. It is written in the Kulya inscription of Durg. Prithvi Raj, worshipper of Virupaksh form of Shiva. Only this is known about him. Vilastung. Rajim inscription was written during the period of this ruler Vilastung. And this Rajim inscription is the source of ancient history of Chhattisgarh. Okay. Vilastung built the famous Rajiv Lochan temple of Rajim in the 7th and 8th century, and he was the follower of Lord Vishnu. Later on, during the Kalchuri period, this Rajiv Lochan temple was renovated by Jagatpal, who was the commander of Kalchuri king Prithvidev II. And the last ruler of Nal dynasty was Narendra Thabal. And this ended the Nal dynasty. And here I come with the end of this first part. But then we have other dynasties also to cover, like I can show you the PPT again. This one. We have to cover Ban dynasty, Faninag dynasty, Chindaknag dynasty, Kakatiya dynasty, and the most important Kalchuris. So I will bring a second part for you for the regional dynasty where we will take a look of all of these dynasties. Till then, keep yourself healthy and safe and take a look in Purvanchal IAS. Take the help of Purvanchal IAS and get success.